See if this actually works. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so that obviously works, but live chat doesn't work either way. I will have to fix that later. Nice, okay. We can close all this. So today we're gonna try out some new UI libraries that I want to explore, and you guys can also follow along. I will post the GitHub link down in the description, and I will also create the GitHub repository and so forth later. But either way, so let's start just going to our terminal here and try to create a new project. So something like that. We can also just type library test. It's fine. I'm gonna make this directory here. Nice, and then we can cd in it. Let's do this instead. Just copy this whole thing here, and then cd to it and type code dots. Just like that. So we open Visual Studio Code here. Yes, we obviously trust authors, and I will also remove the other visual code that I opened before. It should be this one. We can also remove our terminal here. And that should be about it, yeah. We can also remove this browser here and go into, let's do this. Okay, so let's fix this. No. We open Firefox here. And then we can do. Right. So that should be working, I think. Yep. Alright, so inside here we obviously want to start a Vite application. We can fix that. Let's go to Vite and React. We also want to install Tailwind CSS as well. So let's do that. But first we want probably to just start a Vite application with React. So let's go and check that. We obviously use npm here, and this will use yarn bun. Should we use bun instead? You know what? Let's install bun. Just because it's fun. So when I copy this bash here and enter our terminal, paste that in here, and boom. Okay, we can just test these commands out there. Let's do that. Yep, okay, that seems to be working. Nice. Okay, so Bun is practically installed. Nice. Let's see. So we can use Bun here, and we actually don't want to have this, so I will go into my files here and just remove that file we just created, or folder. We're gonna remove that and then head to our terminal again. And we are probably in the right directory. Yeah. So let's try this out. But we want to change the template to React, I guess. I think that should be working. Done. Now we're on CD, my new... So I just created a folder that is called my... Okay. We can fix that. It should be here somewhere. Why do I have a folder that's called CD? Oh, no modules are here. Wait, did we just... We maybe have to do this inside of the folder, actually. Yeah. That's bad. It's not what we wanted at all. Either way. Let's do that. We're gonna copy these and remove those. Yeah, that's not what we want at all. Let's remove those, and I think that's fine. We have .npm here. Yeah, that's totally fine. That should be it. If we go and change, whoops, if we go and change to don't show hidden folders, hidden files, then we should be alright, right? Yeah. Okay, so actually let's make this directory here, which is called project. I can just call it whatever. Then I'm gonna see the project as well. Inside of here we want to, whoops, we want to use this command here. Let's go to our Liquidity here, and I will clear this, and then we will paste this and change some stuff. This should be React, and we also wanted to name this file, let's say library test or whatever. Library tests, and then we should, yes, that should be fine. Then we can cd library tests, just like that, and then we can do bun install. So that should install all the things we need. And then we can type bun run dev. This gives us a local host, which we can then enter, and boom, we have beat with React. So that's really good. So let's open our Visual Code here. We can close the current Visual Code I have, and then go in here. I will obviously clear this and type code, and then we will run essentially all the things from Visual Studio Code. Yes, we trust this author here, and we can also open a terminal here. So type new terminal. I will put this to the right and make it a bit smaller. You clear this and also type bun run dev. So that should be fine. And then if we control click this, we will have our browser here. Nice. And it's lagging for some reason. Interesting. Either way, that's fine. So let's head over to our VS Code here. We have our browser running. And then we can go to... We also want to install... we can add another terminal here. And move it up to this one. So in here. Now we want to install table instances. And I think we need to use bun here as well. So let's do that. Okay, they use interesting. Does this work? Let's try this. You know what? Either way, it doesn't really matter. We can just use it. Tailwind says as source from the beginning, so that's fine. So get started. We also want to install. We have the CLI here though. We could actually use that. Doesn't have bun, I think. No, it doesn't, but it's fine. So now let's put this here. And we should copy this here. We can insert here. We will also put this here. And then we can maximize this a bit. Okay, so that's fine. We can clear here. And then we can also install it from that way. Okay, that's fine. Nice. Okay, so now we have Tailwind here. We can obviously remove this and make this bigger and make this smaller, like that. And if we change to okay, nice. So we can obviously change this content right here. We're gonna copy this code here. Content is here. We're gonna remove that and boom. Very nice. All right. And also remove that. Okay, so now I've done that. I think that's all actually. Let's check this out. No, we actually have to go into our input.css, but for us it is actually index.css, I think. Yeah, we can obviously, I actually want the roots to be left here, but we will remove everything else. So we will style it with CSS from the beginning. You know what, let's have it here, but we can paste this. It's like that. I think that's fine. Whoops. Just like that. That's fine. And I think that's we actually have to run this command as well. That's interesting. Either way, let's do that. New terminal. We can do it down here. Just like that. Run that. Should be fine. Because it's not input, it's index.css, and it's inside the source as well. So we will run this, but change some. Actually, I don't think this matters, so we can just leave it. I think that's fine. So if we go into our browser right now and we remove that and make this bigger, we have essentially this, and this increases, and everything is off. It's fine. So let's go and remove some basic templates that we don't need. So we obviously want to have, we have our index here, index.html, that's fine. Our app.js here, we can actually remove all of this, but we want to have the div left, I think. Yeah, sure, we can do that. But we want to have this p tag for some reason. I don't know why though. Where's this div? It's up here. Okay, so we can actually remove this. And then we have our links here, or a tags. We can also remove them. Now we should have a practically gray background, right? Yeah. Okay, nice. So let's add a class name to this. Let's name it. We could actually. We don't want to name it add because we use Tailwind, but we can do the height is gonna be full, and the width is gonna be full. So we have a full width and height. Hopefully this is fine and it recognizes the... Right, okay. So let's add up h1 tag and see if this actually works. So just type hello. And it pops up in the middle. Nice. So it works. Very nice. Okay. So let's try to... Oh, this is private, bro. For some reason, my stream was private. That's weird. Either way. I hope you guys can go back and check. But either way, it seems like everything's working. I do want to have this to the right, though. And we can have... Yeah, that's really good. So now we have all this. Let's try to go to that UI library that I wanted to test that out. And it's essentially called ShadCN. And we have to install it in some way. So we usually use Vite here, so I think I can, yeah, we have already installed Tailwind, CSS, and etc. So vite.config, add the code to app to resolve paths without error, and then add the following code to tconfig. Right. So it's tconfig. I think it's this one. So it's, yep, we can probably change that, and they have added paths to this, which I think I already added, and they added this in path compiler options. We don't have that. Maybe we should go to manual, because that's, nope, it's not that one. We do use Vite though. How do we do this? Maybe it's Next.js. I don't know. We could use Next.js here actually. TypeScript Tailwind. Here they have this looks interesting, but we don't use I think it's Vite, right? I think this is fine. Actually, I don't think we has to do this. Plugins React. Oh, they imported path here, right? And then they have aliases. And then they... Okay, but we can actually try to do that. That's fine. Okay, so let's open another terminal and paste that in here. And we essentially got the whole thing. That is not what we want. We just want the command. Let's fix that. Let's do that, see if that works. That works pretty good. And then we have to essentially add this as well. Define config. We have... This is in tailwind. I think this should be fine. It's Vite. Okay, right. So it's not tailwind. Alright, let's change that. Okay, nice. So what we can do is essentially just copy this whole thing. Just here. That should not crash anything. Nope, it doesn't. Great. So let's install this this library. We can actually use Bonnier. Let's go. It doesn't change. Okay, let's try to see if this works. So we just copy this here. Okay, that actually worked. Nice. Let's install that. No, we don't want to. Let's go with default here. Slate. My global.css file, we don't have that one. Should we make that? We can make that one. I would probably put it in the source folder as well. So let's do that. And then we can actually, it's inside of the library test whatever, but I think I just can't type. I think I can just type source/global CSS, right? Yes, of course, we actually want that, yep. Are you using custom? No, I don't, so that's fine. Where's tailwind.config.js file? It's inside of the root config, so that's fine. Yeah, that's totally fine. Configure your import alias for components. Very good. This should be inside of source, so I should add a components folder here, I think. They use small. This should be a folder. I mean, that's fine. Component. Oh, shit. Just like that. Alright. And this should be inside source/components, I think. Configure your import alias for utils. Where is utils? It's inside of. I don't think I have one. Yeah, let's. I don't have a lib folder either. Let's leave it at that. Yes, we are. Yes, sure. Couldn't find tsconfig.json. Huh. I think that's fine though. I don't think we need that. Let's try it. Let's try it without that. Okay, nothing has crashed, right? Our app is still running. Yep, it is. So let's try this default command here. We want to use bun, obviously. So we can add a new terminal because I closed one. That's my bad. Add that, import that. Okay, so that's the problem. We couldn't find the tsconfig.json file. Let's see. That's TypeScript, right? So we don't use TypeScript. Do we have to use TypeScript for this? That would be a problem. I might have to actually recreate this whole project then. That's really irritating though. But sure. I'm not usually comfortable with TypeScript, but we can try. Okay, let's just recreate this whole thing then. We can use bun and then template, view. Ah, that's how we do it. I can use React TypeScript. That's really good. Okay, so we simply just have to rebuild this whole thing. Nice. Okay, so let's go into files and delete this folder that I just created. This should be inside of project. And here we go. So remove that and open a new terminal. Here I could actually just do this instead. cd project. And then type in this, and we want to have a template of React-TS. This should actually be a template. And then should be React-TS, and the name could be just project. I don't really care. So I think that should do it. Let's try that. Bun not found can be installed within. Okay, so I haven't installed that either. That's weird. Install bun-js. installing bun. Let's go. Okay, so now I should actually be able to create this one here. CD project. Bun install. Okay, let's not use bun then. Let's scratch bun. I just want to see how it looks like inside of this folder here. See if it's actually, oops, that it actually, what do you mean? Okay. At least there we have tsconfig file. But let's use, okay, so let's do this then. Let's use npm instead of bun, even though bun is super fast. Yeah, these two can actually we can actually delete those. The project folder, that's fine. Instead of here, we want to highlight everything and delete those as well. Let's do that, and now I should be able to sit out of this. We don't have anything here. We have, what type of folder do I even, what? It's inside of this one. Okay, so let's just remove this then. That should be fine. And if we go in here now, we don't have anything. Nice. So let's use npm here and install the right dependencies and stuff. So go in here. We want to change the template to, and this is obviously the npm, right? It certainly is. Okay. So we want to use React TypeScript, and this should be called project. Let's do that. Yep, that's fine. Then we can cd project, and then type npm install to install the node modules. That should be fine. Very nice. And then we can clear this and type npm run dev just to see if this actually works. Seems to be working. Very nice. And we also use TypeScript, so it should be a different type of, yep, this is obviously not working, so we can open the folder. It's project. It's right inside of here. Let's open that. Yep, now we have tsconfig and all that. So I have to learn TypeScript as well. But that shouldn't be any different, to be honest. It actually looked like regular JavaScript code from or JSX code. So I think that should be fine. So let's install all these dependencies then. Yep, this we have to do this. We should use npm. We could also open a terminal here, and we still have Aliquity open for our host. We can also remove this here. We don't need that one. Nice. So let's install these dependencies. Yep, nice. Now we have TypeScript and so forth. And inside of here, we should go into our tsconfig.json and use these values. It's inside here. Let's go and do this instead. So let's move this guy up here. Nice. And then move this guy here. Okay, so obviously we have base URL and stuff like that. I think we have to post this beneath. Yep, that should be fine. So we have to post this type of information beneath here, and this should also have a comma, just like that. And nothing has crashed really. It kind of seems, oh, it's because we have still an error. And it's because we have to add nope, that didn't do the thing. What did I miss? Is it this whole thing here? No, it should not be that whole thing. It actually should, never mind. So this whole thing here. So it's actually this one here. We still get an error for some reason. I wonder why. Why do I get an error? Wait, so if I remove this, it still gives some error for some reason. Okay, that's super weird. So if I just do that, that's still fine. And if I post this here, okay, now it's working. Interesting. Okay, so we have posted that in there, and it seems like our local host is somewhat, it's unenable. Let's see. What if I restart this whole application? Yep, that worked. And if I go in here, it's open and running. Very nice. So now we're gonna update the whole vite.config.typescript file. So we have to essentially copy this whole command here, just like that. And then inside of our vite.config.ts file here, we have to basically post this whole thing here. And it's still working. Nice, it seems like it's going really well. And now we have to install this. We use that with npm. See if that works. Okay, so now we have to obviously answer all these questions. So let's do that. Need to install the following patches. That's fine. We proceed. Yeah, Bun is so much faster. Jesus. Yes, we go with TypeScript. We use the default. We want to use Slate. Where is your global CSS file? Do we have one? I don't think we have one. So we have to create one. That's fine. Assets. Oh, that's React. Right. So we just create one in the source file, or source folder. So it's global.css, and we also have to give them the global.css. We have to give them the path. Yes. We don't use that. Where is your tailwind.config.js file? It's inside of our source, so the default value should be fine. Or is the default? Yeah. Configure the import alias for components. Let's go with the default. We don't have libs utils, so let's go with the default. Yes, we are. Write configuration to components.json. We proceed, obviously. Boom. That actually worked really well. Nice. Okay, so now we can just try this simple button here. So we're gonna install this. Let's go with the default. Whoops. We should not be inside of here. We can close this one. We can also close all of them, actually. Let's go with the default. Go with Slate. Oh, we don't want to be in here. This is the wrong command. That should be the right command. Okay, nice. So let's try this out. So we have our components, our buttons here. Oh, it's already pre-installed. Jesus, that's so nice, actually. That is actually so nice. Wow. Okay. I'm already loving this. Wow. Okay. So let's go to our app.typescript file. And we're essentially just to remove all the unnecessary components and stuff we don't need. We don't need this as well. We just need the div here, and we're gonna give this a class name, obviously. We can also remove all of these imports here, because we don't need them. So let's remove them. We also don't need this use state, and we don't need this. We will probably need it later, but it's fine. So let's remove that, and since we have tailwind.css, right, I think we have, oops, I think we have that. We don't. Okay, so let's install. We actually do. Never mind. So it can just. Nope, this is not what I want. We can just type class name, and then go to h-full and w-full. Let's start with this and see what happens. Nothing happens. That's perfect. And then if we add a h2 tag in script or h1 tag, boom, it's working. Nice. So let's fix this button then. So let's copy this whole import button from the certain library or the components, and then we also want to just add it in, essentially, I guess. Button, just like that, and this should be click me, or I don't think it really matters. And now we have a button. That's really cool. So let's try out some different components, so to speak. We have a carousel. That's really nice. We have different styles. We have New York and default. There's practically no difference between them, I think. If I do that. Okay, so what if we change it to default? It's fine. Okay, whatever. We have our CLI and we have our manual into a project. I think we can use the CLI. I don't think we need to do it manually. We have alert log, so show. Let's try this one out. It looks really interesting. Okay, so let's copy this with npm, obviously, and create a new terminal here and install it. And this should be fine to use the CLI. Let's see if this works. Oh, that took a while, actually. Okay, interesting. Okay, either way, let's import all of this, because it's a lot to import here. And if you guys are just wondering what I'm doing, I'm just trying out a new library that we can essentially just copy in code and use the components as we need them. And then we can just copy this whole thing here, and we should essentially just create an alert button for some reason. And we obviously want to copy it in the and Control-Shift-I. Oh, configure. We don't have our code formatter. I will go with prettier, so that's fine. Boom, everything is formatted, and I think we have alert dialog. So it's not really that thing, but we still get an. So click continue, open, cancel, click me. Okay, the interesting. Let's see, show dialog. It comes up right like this. If we go to code, we have all the code here. Is there something I'm missing? Maybe I'm not missing anything. Okay, so they created a button, then they imported button and also the dialog. And then inside of dialog, they didn't do anything interesting. What if I just, and this is inside of app.js, right? No, it's not. Just because it's fun, let's create a new components folder and try to recreate this component. So I'm just gonna name it comp, because this folder already is named components. So let's create that and go in here and create a new file called alert dialog.tsx, which is TypeScript essentially, and then we can just copy this code in here. Let's do that. That should be fine, no errors. I will also format this so that looks decent. We can remove this terminal here, so that's really good. And let's see if I can just import that component. So let's do that. I also don't need that. I also don't need this import here. The button can be here, that's fine. We also imported the CLI and whatever, so that's fine. We also have to import the button, so let's do that. Import alert dialog, and this should be from alert. We can just name it alert from from dot slash components slash, that's wrong folder, slash alert dialog, just like that. Why is this red? Describe its value in red, that's fine. And we can just copy it in this here, and that should be fine. It doesn't have any default export default function, I guess. We have to do that. Default, just like that. That doesn't work. Let's do this then. And then we can just type exports default, I think, and then we can just type alert dialog demo right here. That export expected, so we can just type this. And now we don't have that error. And if we show dialog, very nice. We can also just remove this button at the moment. And then we press this, we get this. So it's usually the same, but we don't have the nice animation that they have. I wonder why. We can remove this tab. Either way, let's try something else. This could be... We don't need that, that's fine. We don't need that, very nice. So this is drop down. Okay, so let's install that. See if that works. That is not what I wanted to paste in. We have two problems. Button is declared, but that's fine. It's still installing. It's quite slow actually, but that's fine. Now it's done. Okay, nice. So let's try to use this. Let's create another component inside of here. This could be dropdown. Dropdown.tsx, and then we can just copy this import here, I think, and also... Alright, so we have to create a function. We can do that. I will actually create an arrow function, so we'll say cons is equal to parentheses, which is equal to this, and then we have it here, and we also have to create a name for it. So let's call this dropdown, just like that, and then we also have to export this, so we can type export default, and this should be dropdown, just like that. And for some reason it's crying. What do you mean? What is the different export default? We create a function. Is this not valuable or valid? Maybe I typed something wrong. I probably did, yeah. Boom, that should work. Nice. Okay, so we essentially just have to create a return statement here, and then we can use the code. So that's really good. Return, boom. And then inside of here we want to have hover card. And I will format this so it looks a bit nicer. And I think that's it actually. So let's try to import this. So import Drop down. Why does it want to? Oh, it's because I named this with a small. Oh, that's fine. And then we can add this in here. And it's getting me a warning. Does not exist. Could it be because I named this with a small d? It could be why. And then we should add it in here as well. That should work nice. We also have to say this. And then go in here. We have a hover. And we get a drop down. I think it is the CSS styling that is not actually helping us. It's interesting. Maybe we haven't imported global.css. I think that's the problem. Maybe that is the problem actually. Let's try to import that inside of index.css, or maybe we should have to import it in here. I think that's the problem actually. We have to import global.css because we haven't really done anything with it. So let's do that. Oh my god, that's so good. Nice. Let's see if this works. Ah, it works. So what if we actually remove this drop down here and try the alert button again? Is the alert button actually styled? I hope it is. Oh my god, that is so cool actually, and it's blue as well. That's really cool. And I can probably go in the global CSS folder or file and essentially just change the color code however I want. That's really cool actually. I love this. It's a bit pain in the ass to install, but it's fine. Wow. And the button should also... I actually forgot what the button did. Let's try that one out. So let's just do something like that. It should not be a self-closing tag, but if you click me, if I correctly... Okay, so it's whatever, but it's blue, so maybe we want to change that, but it's certainly working. We have a new, that's cool, but I don't want to have an email. We have a navigation menu. Oh my god, that's interesting, dude. No freaking way they have this. This is so useful. This is actually so useful. Okay, let's try this one out. This is actually really cool. So let's install this. I wonder how big the file is becoming, but I don't care. So let's install this and see if that works. That's actually really cool. Okay, so it's done. Nice. Let's create a new component again, I guess, which we can call navbar dot tsx. Right, we can also remove this because we don't need them. We don't need that as well. Oh, we actually need app.tsx as well, so that's fine. So we want to create, we also want to import these components here, so let's copy them here, that's fine. And then we also have to create a const navbar, which is equal to, I could probably just call type, wait, no, I can't. It's actually not for that type of code, so never mind, but we're gonna export this. It's gonna be default navbar, just like that, and then we should enter our return statement, just like that, and then we can just copy this whole code inside of here and format it as well. Boom, that's done. Let's add this to the app file. So that's fine. We import navbar and we remove this button here. We should also add, let's do this. So we should add this here and format this as well and see if this is actually working. So this is just one item though. So they use links. That's interesting. So we can use links as well, but we have to install the React Router DOM. But here they use only one. So if we just do this instead, we could actually... Okay. So what if we just copy this whole code here instead and go into navbar and paste it? This should probably work, I think. We might get some errors, but yeah, we actually get some errors. Interesting. They have certain icons that I don't have, apparently. So how do we get those icons? Yep. So it's obviously the link and the components slash icons, but maybe it's down here. When we use the next.js link here, the component, you can see navigation, menu, trigger style. To apply the correct styles to trigger, it's obviously this style here, but I think... See also to use Radix UI documentation for handling client-side routing. That's really interesting. I really like how they actually created this navigation here, but I think it's this icon here that is essentially being used. Let's see where this icon is actually being used. Let's try if we can find this. Yeah, it's basically this one. So if we just remove this div here, then I should actually be able to remove this whole navigation link here. I don't need this. And that's I actually don't need this whole li tag as well. So remove that, and then I can actually remove this terminal and go up to the top. We don't need this icon here. And then how do we import link? Because that's the only error we have. We also have why is this? Okay, so I just import. You have to export this default. Okay, that's fine. We can do that. It should be like this way, right? Yep, that should be fine. So now that error is done, but we still have one error with link. So let's fix that. It's next, right? So we have to... How do we use this? The link component. When using the link... Oh, okay, so they have their own type of link component instead of the... Where's the link component being used? Oh, it's being used pretty much everywhere. I mean, they're searching for a component, I guess, from Next. And we don't have that one. Where's the link component coming from? Because this looks just too good. Manual. Maybe I have to do... Instead of manual, let's go to CLI, that should be fine. But inside of here, is it the Radix UI documentation I have to go to? Next.link, next link, index.jsx, right? If you use a link component provided by your routing package, then we recommend... Ah, okay, so I have to basically install the React Router DOM here. Okay, but we can do that. That's fine. So let's just type new terminal and install npm I React Router. I think this is the problem. I'm not completely sure though. But let's install this React Router DOM here. See if that works. And then we have to change the link import as well to import link from it's not React. I think it's React Router DOM, right? just like that. And then we have we don't have any errors here, but we still have errors down here because it's different. But that's fine. We can just change, we can actually remove this whole thing and then change the href to a 2. That should do trick, I think. Right. Reconstruct or recall signatures. Can't use the XX component. Okay, so I think that's fine. What I have to do is essentially just import this whole thing here. So let's do that. Okay, we're already importing it, so it doesn't really matter. But they say I can use actually my own link. Advanced animations. Item 2, item 1. About home, whatever. This is a bit tricky actually. How do I use my own link component for this UI plugin? Why is this crying? Maybe it is because I'm not really importing it correctly. Is that the problem? Is that actually the problem? Let's just... Okay, so how do you even import link? So we are going to React Router. That's how we import link. Okay, so I just have to destruct it. Let's see if this works. Ah, that worked. Nice. So if we go in here, we don't see anything. We still use the... Okay, so let's see the inspector and see... We have one error. Let's move this a bit to the... Never mind. Import not found default. Where is this? It's inside navbar in the top, basically. We still have an error. Why we don't? So what if I just Oh, now we got 4 errors. Let's go. It's a huge amount of errors. React, use context is no. The borrower link component. Consider adding an Android borrower to your tree. No, I don't need to know that. Okay, so obviously it doesn't find use context for some reason. Maybe... Yeah, it seems like this is not working for me. Let's try another application. We can leave this application, actually. We just don't need to use it in the app. So let's try something else. We have our radio group. What is this? Compact. Okay, so it's basically just a list of... it's basically just a list of checkboxes. We don't want that. We have a slider. That seems funny. We have a switch table. That's really cool. You can display a lot of data here. Let's try this. So let's import this one. We're gonna use npm here. We're gonna open a new terminal and close all the other terminals that I opened before, because I have a lot of terminals open. So let's close all of these here. Alright, nice. So let's clear here and essentially just import this library package here. Oh, that's fast. Okay, nice. And let's create our own component for this. So let's say the name should be like table.tsx here for some reason, I think. And we also have to create our own layout here, I guess. So let's create an arrow function. And we also have to add a name to this. Let's name this table, just like that. And we can also, I think we can, let's export it down here. So it's gonna be default, just like that, exactly like that, and add a return statement. And then we could import this whole code here in the top, and then we should also just be able to import this table inside of this return statement. And also, we can't name the code or the file table because they use table here. So let's rename the whole file and the function itself. So let's rename those. So table comp, And I'm also gonna highlight this and copy it. And then we want to paste this inside of here and remove .tx. That should be fine. And do the same thing down here. I think that should fix the trick. Yep, nice. Okay, so let's import it in the app.jsx file. And by the way, guys, if I'm going too fast, then please just say it. I'm quite fast when it comes to coding. So we want to import table comp. We can just import it like that and then paste it inside of here. That should be fine. And if we go to our browser, we can actually see a card or a table, a list of your recent invoices. So let's try to change this then. So here we have a table, a list of your recent invoices. That's fine. Table header we have here. We can actually leave this at default. That's fine. But we want to add some more rows, I guess. So let's just copy this whole row here and paste like 4 of these, and we add actually more rows to this table. That's really cool. And you can use this UX library, like you can just use it and import it and paste code. You don't have to write anything. So if you want to create a header or a table, you can simply just copy this code from the website and install all the different dependencies and so forth, and then you can just boom, see how it looks. So a text area here, that's really cool. If you want to create like a AI chatbot or whatever, you can use this text box here to write text. We also have different... Oh, you can disable it, you can create with a label. That's really cool. Is something more you can do. With text, nice, and with a button as well, so you can send message. You can create a from. That's really cool. Let's create this text box here. So I think we can first of all import it, obviously. I probably should have my terminal left. So let's go just to move this up here. Then we want to import, not this, nope, this is not what I want. Nice. Clear this. And import this through npm. I would want to use Bond because it's so much faster, but for some reason it's crying when I'm installing it. But either way, we just install this whole component, and let's create a new component. We want to still have the app.tsx file, but we want to create a new file in the comp folder, and this could be, say, chat, whatever. It could be chat with a capital C. Nice. Alright, so we want to create the chat with a button, right? So let's do that. Go to code and... is this all the code? Really? Okay, let's go and copy this code here, I guess. See if that works. We also have to rename this whole... to this whole function to chat, and we also want to export it as default. So let's do that. Nice, and then we can import it up here. Import chat from comp./comp chat, whatever. And then we can just copy it here and go to our browser, and boom, we have a text message. So yeah, I type hello world. Boom, and send message. It obviously won't fix that. We can also change the size. We cannot change in the horizontal basis, but in the vertical. So that's interesting. So let's try to... we have a slider. I know we had a carousel before. Let's try and see if we can do something with this. This is actually something you actually want in your website. A carousel is very nice. So let's fix that. Go to our bash here and import this carousel. See how long it takes. Probably shouldn't take too long. Nice. And then we can just create a new component as we usually do. Just to structure it up a bit and create... I'm gonna name this slider because I think carousel is just a word, or it doesn't really explain too much in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. You can do vertical as well. Holy shit. That's really cool, actually. And then you have a text of slides. Nice. You also have a vertical one. That's really cool. Oh, this one is really cool. This might be actually the one that I want to use, actually. Let's try to do this. Let's go to the code, and I can probably just copy this whole code and not open the save. We don't want that. We want to copy this whole code, paste it in here, and we have to name this slider. If we can type right slider with a capital S, obviously. That's what we want to. Very nice. For some reason, it's complaining about our components /UI /card. And it's probably because we are not in our root directory, so I have to add something to this. Yeah, because if we check in our components folder and UI, we have actually... do we have card? We don't. That's weird, we just installed this whole thing. Didn't it actually add card? That's really weird. Let's try to reinstall this. That's super weird. Yes. We want to overwrite it. We don't have card. Maybe we have to install card itself. Maybe it's a different component that we have to install. That might be the problem. So let's go to card here. Oh, that's really cool. I have to try this later. Either way, we're gonna install card as well. So let's go and do that. I think that should do the trick, right? We have card. Yep, that did the trick. I'm gonna just turn on a light in my room so it's not as dark. Okay, nice. Yep, that actually did the trick. Let's go. So let's add this slider. Like that. Nah, this is not the right slider. We are actually not importing the right slider. It should be this slider. Why is it destructuring it? That's super weird. Is it because we are exporting function? Why is it destructuring? Okay, let's just try this out and see if that works. I don't think this is gonna work because it's actually destructuring the whole thing. Okay, never mind. Okay, so we see we see that the buttons here is in fact not in the correct place, and we also have a different styling sheet. So we have a blue outlines. That is totally fine. I can go into the global.css file and change that if I want to. But either way, let's try to just use all of these components in the app.js file. So we have our button here. Let's try to... What if I make this bigger? That didn't really work out. Okay. So let's fix that. Okay, let's give this guy a border and see how... this could be 2, and then we want to have border. I think that should be fine. That's the problem. We have to have this whole app file in the total width and height. So we have to fix that somehow, because this is not obviously ideal. So I think it's because we are inside of this. So let's create this div here. Give this guy a class name. This should essentially have all of this inside. So let's fix that. Boom. We get errors, that's fine. I'm gonna copy this here and remove this class name here, or this div, and rewrite div here. So that should not... And this is obviously gonna have an S. So now we don't get errors, and now we can format this whole thing, and boom. Okay. So now we don't actually see anything here. That's really interesting. Do we have any errors here? We have 3 errors. Let's rerun this and see. Okay, now import not default in the main.tsx file. Okay, it's inside of here. App, React DOM. This is fine. So why is it not? Oh, is it because we actually cannot have a div here? Do we have to have an empty? Oh, that's really weird. Is that actually the problem? That's actually is the problem. Oh my god. Okay. Let's change this to screen. Did that? Oh, that really worked out. Nice. We can also change this to screen. So now we have the whole screen. But if we want to change this to full. Okay, so the reason why full is not working, it should be working, but the reason is because we haven't really set the default dimensions for the view. So let's go and do that. And I think it is inside of this root directory here. So I can type some CSS here. So let's go with width. Should be 100%. That didn't work out either. Let's do this then. We go into our app.css file. We have app root here, margin, max width, logo. I think this should be fine. Type this 100%, not 1000, 100%. Yeah, that works fine. Nice. Okay, so that's how we do that. So let's do the same thing with height. Not 110, it's gonna be 100. Or we should do view height actually. So let's do that. Boom, we have the whole thing, and the margin should be 0. I think we have to add the margin 0 here actually. Otherwise that won't really work. So let's add the margin 0. Okay. Maybe we have a padding somewhere. Maybe it's a padding inside of this app.css file. Yeah, it's this one here. So we remove this. That should be fine. Now we have the whole screen. And we also want maybe to go inside of here and add display flex here option. Okay, so yeah, nice, very nice. And the reason why the button is not displaying anything is because this should not be closed. We can actually just do that, and boom, we have the button. So let's just add all of these components in the flex direction, or the flex is column, so they should stack upon each other. So let's add this alert here. This should be like that, and boom, show dialog. Boom, we have our alert. It's really cool. We have also a drop down. I think this is gonna give us an error, so this will probably crash. Never mind, it wasn't that component. We have a drop down. It is named hover. We can probably change that to drop down or whatever. So let's go to drop down, and yeah, that's the name. Let's change this to hover me or something. It's practically the same. It doesn't really matter. Hover me. The name is blue, but we can obviously change that depending on what type of default style sheet you just loaded in, but that's totally fine. Navbar, I think that was the component that we didn't fix actually. Yeah, okay, so let's just forget navbar for a second and add table comp here. Boom, we have a table. We also have a chat as well, so we can add that. Really cool. This is a really cool library actually. So we have a button here, we have a show dialog, a drop up, we have a carousel that's working, we have a hover, and this is actually hovering over everything. We have a table and we have a chat that we can write in. It's actually a really cool library, and it's very, what do I say? It's not giving too much visuals, so to speak. We have a drawer. Oh, this is cool. No way. Let's add this one. So we're gonna import this with the npm, and we can remove all of these components because we don't need them. That should be fine. So let's add this. Boom, and that's done. And then we could actually just add a new file here, which could be drawer.tsx. Very nice. And yeah, I think it's just we should just be able to copy this. Oh, we have to create a little constant here, but we might want to actually go to the code here and just copy the old code. And this might give us errors, but it actually didn't. It did. From reshards. Okay. So it's a bar responsive container. I think this is a plugin that we can use if we go here. React. Yeah. I think I've used this plugin before actually. Okay, let's install this plugin then. That should be the answer to the problem, I guess. So install. We use npm obviously. So let's install this and see if this actually works. And by the way, guys, I haven't typed any single line of code except for the default templates for different components, but I haven't really typed anything else. This is just components that I load in. I copy code. It's super easy. Okay, so we have installed reshards. Let's see if this... Oh, that fixed it. Nice. And we could... navbar is fine, but we want to... And we should also export this as a default. We don't do that, so we have to do that. Default, boom. Nice. And then we can just import it inside here. So this should be drawer. Very nice. From ./comp and then whoops. Boom, just like that, and then we can just import this inside here and go into Vite. We don't get errors. Open drawer, and baboom, we have a drawer. That's crazy actually. And we can submit stuff and cancel. Cancel drops it down. My goal. So you can basically make a calorie counter here if you want to with a drawer that you can add certain settings to. That's really interesting actually. Wow, okay, this I already love this library. This is so good. Pagination, you have different. Oh my god, okay. Resizable, what is this? Oh, what? That is cool. Navigation menu. Menu bar. Oh, this has actually drop downs. Let's try this. Bash. Let's install this. Oh, nice. Okay, so let's create the menu bar here. Menu bar. With a small b. Just like that. And we can simply just copy this code here. Boom. It's a lot of code. We want to format this as well. We can do that. And then go up here. We also have to export this as a default. Default. Just like that. Go in here and add the menu bar. Import menu bar. I think it's menu bar demo, right? Maybe I have to change that name actually. Yeah, I have to do that. That should be fine. Well, okay, why is it? Okay, so it has to be menu bar demo. Let's change the name of the file as well. Let's fix that like that, and then go here and import menu bar from boom. Yeah, okay. So if we go into our Vite here, we have a file, and boom. And it's also recognizing that the size down here, which is essentially a drop-down bar, is too small. So it's drop-downing in the in the top actually. That's really cool. We have find, undo. Oh my god, dude. That is super cool. And I haven't even coded this yet. Imagine what you can do when you combine your own code with this plugin. It's insane. Yeah, this is really cool actually. yeah, I think I would stop here and maybe explore this plugin even more. But anyway, guys,